Hello, I'm Tim.
And I'm Sally.
And we're from Group, the volunteer management platform that looks after your people, communications, governance and data. And welcome to the Drop Shot Drop-In. Each of these episodes are fresh and only 5 minutes long. And before we start, I'd like to point out that Sally never knows what the topic or subject could be about. And today we're actually going to be following on from yesterday's episode, which was all about starting up and running a business. Your top tips for this. Obviously, you gave us some amazing ones yesterday. Following on from that, I think you did have quite a few others that you would like to give to everyone. Fire away.
Yeah, okay, Tim. Yeah, happy to. This is something that I do talks on sometimes, so they are usually pretty much on the top of my head. I talked about ignoring the noise. I talked about getting somebody to manage your credit control. One or two other things, can't remember now. One of the things I would like to mention that's really important is when you start a business, you often haven't got any money. So you're starting from scratch and other people want to get involved. And those may be people that you're really happy to share that business venture with. But I always want to say to you to be cautious about doing that. So as a result of what's going on in today's climate, it's possible there's going to be a lot of new businesses starting up. And I would just say, hesitate before you start saying, yeah, here you go, here's half the business and let's do it 50-50 or whatever. I've seen some real disasters happen. I've helped people with their businesses over the years, and I've seen some awful disasters where they've invited people in, or people have just said, yeah, I'll do that if you give me half the business or whatever. And it's ended up getting very messy. And I know somebody's going through court right now for exactly that particular problem. So you really want to reward people. So ideally, when it's your business, try and retain as much control as you can, because later on you can absolutely bring people in and absolutely do that. But wait until the business has settled a little bit, so you know what you're doing and who's properly contributing towards that business. Because then as time goes on, you will find out who really matters and who really are a proper part of the business and are really valuable to you as part of the business. And then you can give them shares and reward them. If you can, try and pay people from the beginning, but I know that's not always possible and you might have to give them shares instead. But just try to protect your interests as much as you can. You can protect their interests later on, but if you don't get your bit right, it's a bit like the oxygen mask thing on the plane. If you don't get your stuff sorted out right, you can't look after people further down the line. It's really important to look after the people around you as much as you can. Try and pay. I went many years of not paying myself, but I paid other people, and I think that's really important as well, because people are more likely to stay with you if you really try and value them. It's not perfect, it's not easy to do, but it's really worth thinking about. Another thing is getting contracts in place. So this is not legal advice, but contracts are pretty meaningless on the whole, but you do have to still do them, and they help relationships and they help partnerships with contractors and so on. But they can be expensive, so just try not to go too overboard, but try to have something in place. Get that confident around you. I talked about people supporting you. Find a lawyer friend if you can, because that will help you with the contract stuff, because it is really, really expensive. And network. Get onto everything that's related to your line of business, and get onto LinkedIn, and get onto anything local networking businesses, whatever it is that's applicable to you. Decide on your structure very quickly. So if you're going to be a social enterprise, if you want to be a business with shares, if you want to be a company limited by shares, if you want to be a KIC, which is a community interest, I forgot what it's called, community interest company, and I might have got that wrong, I'm going to look it up in a minute, and or if you want to set up as a charity, whatever you need to do. Anyway, you need to think about that structure right from the beginning. Do you want this to be not for profit? Do you want it to be that it's for profit and you can bring investors in? Do you want it to be that you want to share something for social good? Decide what it is, decide what that structure is right from the outset. Because the thing is, it's quite difficult to change that once you've started. So if you set it up as a charity and then regret that and want to then bring social investment in later on, it's quite challenging to then change it. So try and think about how open that structure should be. Thank people. I thank people constantly. Sometimes I kick myself because I forget to thank people down the line, but I try to thank people certainly at the time when I'm doing something with them. There's been so many people that have helped me over the years, so many people, and I always thank them at the time, and that's really important. And look for funding. You'd be amazed that's the 5-minute alarm. You'd be surprised at how many grants there are and free money effectively out there if you really hunt for it. There's a lot of support for startup businesses. There's a lot of support for startup social enterprises and social businesses as well. It's not all just about not-for-profits now. If you've got a social focus in what you're trying to achieve, and especially if you're in technology, there is support out there.
Perfect. Lovely. I'll stop you there because we are over our 5 minutes.
Yep.
Again, thank you for today, for coming in and dropping in and seeing me at lunchtime.
No problem.
Really appreciate it. Obviously, if anyone does want to add any thoughts or comments down below, feel free to do so. And again, if there are any... if there is anyone who wants to get in contact, then feel free to do so at support@group.com. And yesterday we had Sally's cracking joke, which was her best of the bunch, I think, which is...
It was my only joke, Tim.
The only joke,
yeah.
Okay. So today, you're back with the joke master. And actually, I was getting in my car the other day, and this bloke said to me, "Can I get a lift?" I said, "Sure. You look great. The world's your oyster. Go for it."
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, everyone.